Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 13 of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, which is going to put us at the halfway mark of the season, even though we're only 3 episodes into these reactions because, we did the first 10 back on the old channel and stuff before YouTube unjustly terminated it. So yeah. Interesting point to have here. Interesting perspective on this series. So this is also going to be our 3rd episode back since we restarted, or continued, I should say. And excuse me. I think I think after this episode will be a good point to really give my thoughts, on where we're at after coming back to this. Last time we got in touch with our H.P. Lovecraft interpretation with Hatecraft, and there is a real author used in the episode as well who actually voiced his own character. So that was really interesting too. It was a little confusing as to how the guy under the mask could have been there at a certain point, but overall the episode was like, yeah, I mean, there's some good to it for sure. There's some really good aspects to that episode, but some things that hold it back a little bit, I feel. Excuse me, sorry. But now we go into the next one. And I'm interested to see where this continues to go. Because we keep getting like little snippets here and there, little things here and there of the main mystery going on while doing all these Monster of the Week. And it's like, I kind of want some progress to be made. And considering this is mid-season, it would be a good point to like make some actual progress, not just, little hints here and there. But I kind of feel like we're probably not going to get that, because I feel like episode 10 actually gave some notable progress, so we're probably not going to get any by the halfway point here. It's just because I came back to this with episode 11, and I haven't really seen episode 10 for years upon years. It's just, I'm craving something. But like I said, we'll see how this goes. Excuse me, I don't know what all the big yawning is about, but we'll see how this goes, and hopefully everything turns out well. So, let's just get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So first things first, I'm kind of glad they didn't make it Yance, the professor, the doctor guy. He was way too obvious, and I was really sure that he was going to be it at first. But once they went to go investigate him, it was like obvious it wasn't him, so it was obvious at that point it was Granny Moonbeam. Because again, they were really the only 2 characters it could have been. It wasn't going to be one of the people who was attacked. So it had to be one of those 2. And Granny Moonbeam, like the entire line she had about like having sold the company the snacks to Destructo. It's like, yeah, or Destructoid, or whatever the fuck it was. But yeah, makes sense that it would be her. She would be literally the only other person it could be at that point. So it's like when you have like an episode like this where it's like there's only two characters it possibly could be, it's a little it takes away some of the mystery aspect of it. I know it's a series made for kids and marketed towards kids and all, but still, it's like kids are even going to be able to figure that shit out. Now, I guessed that it was her, and I guessed kind of the reason why, because of the company doing something she didn't like with the snacks. I was a lot more vague about it, but I was still correct. So we find out what it was, and I'm sorry, but what the fuck? Like, okay, adding a new secret ingredient to make things taste better. Sure. That tracks. Corn syrup being in it. It tracks. But landfill waste? I'm sorry. I know that it's meant as a joke. And it caught me so off guard that I did kind of laugh about it. But landfill waste. Really? That's what we're going for. That's the joke we're making here. Not some realistic, logical thing, but landfill waste. We're going so far in the exaggerated, goofy direction that just comes across as stupid. Like, again, like kids aren't going to really get that as a joke. The kids won't understand what the joke is trying to be there. About, like, how this snack food you eat is all made of garbage and shit. And in this case, it literally is. Kids aren't going to get that. That joke wasn't made for kids. That was made for the parents who are watching this with the kids. Or on their own. The adults watching this. But the problem is, it's so irredeemably stupid that it's actually distracting. And it just comes across as a bad motivation because it's something that's not even believable. Again, if it was just corn syrup or something like that, I would fully believe that. I would absolutely believe that, and that would track with reality. That would be something that would have worked. It's like, oh, they put corn syrup in this, in what's supposed to be this natural snack that I made like this big deal of. Oh, I'm upset at them for that. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. But landfill waste, it's like, and again, she just, nothing is said about it outside of it just being like negative generally. It's not made this massive deal out of literal trash being put into these snacks. Like, there's not this big deal made out of it. It's just like, oh, it's just a thing. She's just angry at this. It's a small thing. And she overreacted. That's how it's coming across. And that is extremely distracting. Like, it really hurts the episode when you're treating this as if it's just some small thing, when in reality, if this kind of thing had happened, it would be like this insanely massive news story. The entire company would be shut down. like, without question. Destructoid, or whatever the fuck it's called, would be absolutely shut down instantly. And probably taken to court. Like, shit would get real if this, like, was... Instead, they're just acting like it's some small thing and that she overreacted. I'm sorry, but no. Because here's the thing, if this was the case, if they were putting landfill waste in these snacks, she was not overreacting. In fact, she was the good guy here, if this is the case. And the ones being arrested should be them, not her. See, it ruins the entire thing because she's supposed to be the bad guy. She's supposed to be the villain of this episode. But when you have her kind of being in the right, granted, mind you, causing a person to crash, and so they're supposed to have nearly died, but somehow ended up perfectly fine. That's a little much, of course, but just, the bugs didn't even hurt anyone. Although the one guy, I guess, did seem to have a heart attack and die. Like, what the fuck? The point is, that's not even her fault, necessarily. The point is, she was right to go after them for that. That's literally poisoning people. On top of it, why do Scooby and Shaggy like these snacks? Like, okay, this toxic waste is somehow supposed to make them taste better. Whatever, that makes no sense, but whatever. These are supposed to be healthy snacks. Didn't the last episode kind of establish that they don't like healthy food in this series? Even healthy, like, snack food is still healthy food. They're literally contradicting themselves one episode after they established that these two don't like healthy food in this. And I talked about last time how it's like, no, Scooby and Shaggy would still be fine with that kind of stuff. It's like, and yes, I'm not complaining that Scooby and Shaggy would eat this kind of stuff, because they would, but the previous episode basically said they wouldn't in this continuity, in this series. So it's contradicting itself. And it's just like, I feel like, I don't know, like, how many writers there are for this show, but I feel like someone would have, continuity checked shit. Because that's kind of a big thing. Especially when food is so integral to Scooby and Shaggy's characters. It's just... Listen, I know the title of this episode is literally an inspiration of Higurashi, which is a horror anime that I absolutely enjoy. But that's not enough to make me, like, ignore all this stuff. And I want to make clear, because I made a video of this as well today. Yes, this is my initial impressions, and they may be a little inflated. My views on this might go down a little bit, might change as time goes on and I calm down from the initial viewing and everything. But honestly, I can usually tell when it's going to change a lot or when it might only change a little. I feel like this might only change a little, if at all, because it's like this kind of thing. These are kind of things that tend to bother me generally. These are the kinds of things that I tend to get annoyed by as it is. So it's like, that's just probably always going to be an issue for me. Also, how did she change her voice? In the previous episode, the guy used a voice changer. It literally said that. But in this, she literally just is using like sonic waves to have the cicadas swarm around her and stuff and to utilize them in different ways. How did she change her voice to sound like the Cave of Wonders? That makes no sense. Like that's never explained. Unless we're just supposed to believe that she can do that with her voice. Which, I mean, sure, isn't unrealistic, but I don't think so. I don't think that's what it was. I'm. This episode just really didn't do it for me. On top of all of this, you also still had the Velma being a petty asshole aspects of it. And then you just threw in the trap stuff with Fred and the will they won't they bullshit with him and Daphne, and it's like, can we just get over this shit already? It's the entire way they're doing the Fred and Daphne thing. It's like the will they, won't they. Um, it's really annoying. It's like I think it would have been better if like it just stayed with like maybe Daphne making like goo goo eyes at him in the background instead of like them actually like playing along with this idea of them getting together, but not actually committing ever. And again, the entire bullshit with Velma is annoying as sin as well because it's like she's just an asshole. And that kind of leads me into talking about my thoughts coming back to this series. So, as I had mentioned when we started this back up, we had watched the first 10 episodes years ago. I reacted to the first 10 episodes years ago, and I ended up dropping it mostly because of Velma. Mainly because I didn't like how she was portrayed, because, you know, my favorite Scooby Doo character, and I hate her being portrayed as an asshole. And 3 more episodes in, I'm just going to say right off the bat, that hasn't changed. I still hate how they're portraying her. She's a petty asshole who's completely unlikable. Fred is kind of getting annoying at points, with Traps being literally his only personality. And Daphne is like so like love struck with him and wanting him to, you know, ask her out and be her boyfriend. And it's like, again, the will they won't they shit is just annoying. It's like, just if you're gonna do it, just commit already. Stop playing around with this. So far with these 3 episodes into where we're at, I'm not really that impressed. My thoughts haven't really changed all that much. Like, there's some aspects of like the last episode with the Cthulhu like monster. I can't remember what it was called, but there's some aspects of that that I really did enjoy. There's some aspects that were actually kind of intimidating. And you know, if there were any lasting consequences to, you know, this dude driving off a cliff in this episode, maybe it would have actually been kind of intimidating in this one too. Though again, the one dude apparently did have a heart attack and flatlined, but he's probably fine. Because, you know, no lasting consequences. If the dude can drive off a cliff, tumble over and over again, and not really be injured at all, The dude who flatlined is fine. I'm going to continue to give this more chances. But this series is still really irritating me. With all the issues that, like, this episode especially had, and just the overarching issues with how the characters are being portrayed, mainly Velma, but even to a point, the others, especially Fred. It's just... it's getting to be something that is, like, hurting my like, desire to watch. And I think this is, like, going to be a case of this shit needs to get resolved soon. If this shit doesn't get resolved soon, it's going to just be too big of an issue that I can't ignore. And if episodes continue to have this many issues and this strong of issues, again, it's going to get to a point where I can't ignore it anymore. So shit needs to be resolved quick. Because otherwise, I'm just going to drop this again. And this time for good. Because if I drop this again, I'm not giving it another chance. Because it's been years. I was willing to give it another chance because my views and everything have changed since then. It's been so long. My opinions might be different. I might have grown into things with this a little more. But so far, no. So hopefully it improves quickly. I'm not going to, like, give a specific frame for how many more episodes I'm going to give it right now. We're just going to take it as it goes and see. Basically, if I lose hope that it's going to get better, if I just lose hope about that, I'll probably drop it. We'll see how that goes. Because if I lose hope that it's ever going to get better, it's like, why bother watching, you know? Tell me in the comments below, though, what did you think of this episode of Mystery Inc? For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.